As many of you may be aware, RBET 1, the first of Season 2, took place this last weekend. It was an absolutely hype event. I got to commentate for a couple hours day one, and that was awesome. The top 8 was one of the best we've had in quite a while, I think. The whole tournament was just super hype. Just very, very cool, very enjoyable. A lot of cool decks, and I'm excited to talk about it. Today we're going to be going over the main takeaways and results. I made a prediction video, actually, I think last weekend. It was supposed to go out right before the tournament, but the tournament got delayed because of some Chalong nonsense. But I made a prediction video, and we're going to be going over why I was right about pretty much everything in that video. Now, this is something I've been saying for quite a while in the run-up to this tournament, and in my prediction video, I said if there's one takeaway I wanted you to get, it's that I thought that Christia Sworn would top that event. In general, I just think fairies are really, really, really goated. I think they're definitely top tier now, maybe even the best deck, and I said Christia Sworn was going to top because I felt like this was the build that has the craziest sort of ceiling, craziest sack potential. And James Ark turned up and got fourth with this with his Christia Sworn list. So I'm going to go ahead and claim a W on that one. I said that this specific deck was going to top, and it did. So, I mean, yeah. I don't know what to say. The deck is crazy. I mean, it's so much more consistent than pure Lightsworn, in my opinion, just because you play so many starters, and you have, like, the defense with Herald, which also sets up your graveyard and stuff. I mean, its ceiling is crazy because you have like this insane like JD Christia boss monster lineup that they just keep coming down, and like every time they come down they end the game. Where it's like if you just get to the point where your grave is set up and you can summon those boss monsters and you drop them, it's just like GG. And we saw that on stream several times. It's just like, oh, James has 4 fairies now. Guess the game is over. Let's go to next game. And if you let the game get to that point, it's just that bad. And then also they have like Honest, which is just like crazy in here, and I don't know, it's just like nuts that everything in its mother is limited in Edison format, but this deck just gets to run around with double Honest. I mean, that's insane. The draw power and the milling and the speed of the deck can just be insane if they open a good hand. It just feels like there's nothing you can do. So I think this deck is absolutely crazy, and I'm definitely not surprised that it topped. We're only just getting started on congratulating myself for my genius predictions, and here, this one's really satisfying. We're going to be talking about the fall from grace of the Blackwing deck. There were a lot of smooth brains last year who were saying, oh, Edison's solved, it's bird format now, it's over, it's just going to be all Blackwings from now to the end of the time. And that really hasn't panned out in the last few months, and nowhere has that been more clear than in RBET 1, where not a single Blackwing deck made top 8. Now, I've been saying for a while that this deck is not the best deck, contrary to sort of consensus opinion of a lot of good players. I feel like in the same way that it's easy to play, it's also easy to play against, because you just always know, like, it's just so obvious what cards are supposed to do what, and like how you're supposed to react to it. But then furthermore, people have just kind of figured that out, and then they're also like metagaming against it with like Consecrated Light. But even more impactful than that is like subtle changes, like more people playing Super Nimble Mega Hamster. That card's crazy versus Blackwings. Ton more people playing Fairies. Fairies has just completely exploded in popularity at this point, and that deck just crushes Blackwings. Even like other decks that maybe aren't as good as Fairies, like the Machina stuff that more and more people are playing, that stuff's really good against Blackwing. So there's just a lot of like random tech choices and meta shifts out there that are bad against that are bad for the bird deck. And I'm not saying Blackwings are bad. I still think they're a good deck. I just do not think that they are the definitive best. You know, they're probably top tier-ish still. I mean, they'll probably always be up there with the good decks. Just because of how crazy the card design of the archetype is. But they're not only are they not dominant anymore, but they're like in serious decline, as we've seen from tournament results pretty much since like November, I would say. And yeah, not a single Blackwing in top 8. That's something we haven't seen for quite a while, I think. Maybe not even since like RBET 1, if we're talking about major events. So actually pretty shocking. I even, like, in my prediction video, I was like, oh, we'll probably see, you know, a Blackwing deck in top 8. Maybe 1 as opposed to the usual, like, 3 that we were seeing in July, August time last year. But actually, we just didn't get any. So, you know, I actually sort of undersold how far Blackwings have shifted out of the meta. In my prediction video, I do recall that I mentioned randomly, just kind of tacked on, that I thought a quick draw deck and a Diva Hero deck would top. And lo and behold, there actually was one of each of these decks in Top Cut. If you want to, by the way, I'm going to link the E3 Yu-Gi-Oh video where he goes over the top 8 deck lists of this tournament. I didn't feel like just doing a top 8 coverage video because it's kind of redundant. I mean, just go to the E3 channel and watch his video if you want a sort of in-depth overview of all of those deck profiles. But you will see that there is a weird quick draw deck, like super bizarre build by Feng Shui, and then there's also I think Ledio's Diva Hero list topped. I think if I'm remembering correctly. These are both decks that I feel have been super slept on over the past like year or so. I think they're both still really strong. I think especially Quick Draw in like a less Blackwing heavy meta probably has a good chance of becoming a really powerful deck in the format. Diva Hero, I just have no clue. I feel like that deck is crazy versus Blackwings, and I don't know why it died out, but it's back now. It's showing up more and more. I think that deck is still really solid, really strong. I'm probably going to do couple videos playing like my sort of more standard takes on these lists because I think they're really powerful and really fun. And it's always nice to promote some of the more based meta decks of Edison format. What else did we see at RBET 1 Season 2? Well, revisiting another one of my brilliant forecasts, the Machina deck that has been hyped up recently did not succeed in performing in the way that it did in Deck Devastators. I think, I know for a fact a couple good players were playing this deck because they were on my team. They were experimenting with like a rat box weird build of this, which might be a neat innovation. That being said, I still think that this deck has some flaws that I'm not quite ready to overlook just yet. There's a lot of really strong stuff going on in there, to be fair. But my comments from the previous prediction video still kind of stand. I think it's a little bit weird and all over the place right now. I think that the deck has a lot of potential. It just needs like some like final push or innovation to get it to that next level, and I'm not sure we're there yet. I think Alscare had a decent run with his rat box version, so maybe if he like refines that and play tests with it more, it'll get to the point where that can be considered a top tier threat. But right now I'm not confident in saying that. So yeah, frogs and zombies were in the top cut, which I believe I said they would be. The frog build at top was actually really insane. You guys need to go check it out because Ronak topped with this like crazy turbo rocket frog build. I was actually experimenting with a deck like this a while back, but I don't know, I'm just really bad at playing and building frogs, so I kind of just abandoned it, didn't even do a video on it. But Ronak has this really sick like burn-oriented build that he did with it, which was like a completely different route than I was taking it, and I think it turned out super cool. It actually reminds me a lot of like the Amaryllis deck in like concept, where you're sort of, rather than just playing a burn deck, which generally sucks in Edison format, you take like a meta sort of engine and you integrate a burn strategy into it, and I think it turned out really, really well. In the case of Ronak, he's playing like creature swaps with Lava Golem and Magic Cylinder, and then, of course, you go into the Turbo Cannon Synchro and use, like, the mini Volcasaurus effect. There are so many cool, like, things and interactions in this deck. He was on, like, triple T-Roar, triple Wabaku. So it's just a super cool list. You got to go check it out for yourself. And then Zombies won the whole event, which sort of reinforces my statements about this being one of the best, if not the best, decks of the format. That was just a more standard list, though. That being said, yeah, just check out Rodok's deck. It's awesome, and, you know, you always expect to see these two in Top Cut. Okay, that about wraps up the main takeaways from this event. Blackwings, out of style from where they were, for sure. Fairy's probably here to stay as a top meta contender, and you would better buy all of your turbo cannons before they are gone, because they are going fast. I think if this event made one thing clear, it's that Edison format is nowhere near solved. It's definitely going to continue evolving and innovating and hopefully growing in the near future. I mean, I can't count how many times I've heard just idiots and casuals say that Edison format is solved. I mean, it happened like half a dozen times last year. Every Ribbit, there was a new breakout deck that's the best deck, and it broke the format, and it was never going to change. And of course, it just like went away. So I think Edison is it's going to take years and years and years to get to like a solved state, like even close to what GOAT format is now. And people just need to stop like making these bold, outlandish sort of statements. So hope you guys took something out of this this little bragging video I made about all my predictions. Hope you sort of gleaned some insight from the takeaways of this event. I thought this was a great event, just an absolute banger way to kick off the year. I loved Ribbit 1. I'm hyped for Ribbit 2. I'm hyped for the IRL event that I'm going to be going to in June. And in general, the Edison scene is just really expanding. There's a couple like crazy new like tournaments and events that are going to be held this year. I'm probably going to do an announcement video soon for some of them because we got some cool stuff in the works. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.